Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's having a pleasant summer evening. Tonight we got the great pleasure of having Silas Peters with us, and he's got some good indicators to show when there is a market reversal. So with that, Silas, we're anxious to see your information. Welcome to the Candlestick Forum again.
All right, thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it, and thank you to the Candlestick Forum team. Thank you to Becky and Jim and the crew. Thanks again for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's been a while since I've been here on the show. I've got some very exciting things to share with everybody this evening. Let's just do a quick audio-visual check. I want to make sure everybody can hear me and see my screen. Just type something in the chat if you don't mind. Let me know that you can hear me and see my slides. And don't want any technical difficulties, so the sound is coming in clear. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you guys and gals. So my name is Silas Peters from Trades Trendings, and very pleased to show you this 3-point price action formula to spot market reversals and trade this current market volatility. This is my bread and butter strategy. I've used it for almost 20 years. If it didn't work, I would not be using it. I can assure you that. So I use this every single day. Works on intraday charts just as well as swing charts, whether you trade futures, stocks, options, ETFs, currencies, cryptos. I'll go through all that in just a minute. Let me ask you this, though. How would 36 S&P points sound to you? Can anybody do the math on that? 36 S&P points. We're talking about mini S&P. What is 36 points? $50 a point, that's $1,800 a contract. Well, that's what happened with 3 setups today, 3 setups on the E-mini S&P just today, and this is not any type of anomaly. It happens literally every day in all markets, so I'm very excited to share that. I will tell you quickly, feel free to ask all the questions, comments, feedback as you wish during the course of the presentation. I will answer everybody's question at the end. I want to make sure that I teach you the strategy, teach you the meat of this setup. I mean, that is why you're here after all. So I want to teach you that, something as actionable that you can literally start to use tomorrow or maybe even tonight if you trade the late Asian session or European session. So again, my name is Silas Peters. I am the founder and head trader of Seasonal Swing Trader and Trades Trending, and I'm really excited to be sharing this unique strategy. It is what I call my 15-minute trading blueprint. I've been using it for the last 20 years, and it absolutely crushes it. But the best thing about it is its simplicity. It's a truly mechanical, stress-free, emotion-free trading method that can be applied literally on any market or time frame. So let's get right to it. We must take a quick glance here at the risk disclaimer as required by our regulatory governing bodies and our attorneys. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results or is substantial risk of loss associated with trading. Only risk capital should be used to trade. So everybody knows what this is. Always consult your tax or financial advisor before applying real risk capital in the markets. Now, let me ask you, what is everybody trading here? What does everybody trade? You trade stocks, options, futures, FX. Let me know. I just kind of want to get a feel for the type of crowd we have. I trade stocks, options, futures, and FX frequently. These are my major markets. I do have, I guess, quote-unquote investments in crypto. I don't trade crypto actively. I view it more, I've got buckets of crypto across the World Wide Web. I view it more as a lottery ticket. But these are the markets that I trade actively. So we've got options, index futures, stocks and options, excuse me, stocks, ETFs, options. A little bit of a mix of everything. Seems like stocks and options kind of take the weight there, and that's awesome because regardless of what you trade and what I'm going to share with you today works in all those markets, and it's highly accurate. It works in all those markets, all time frames. It's 99% mechanical, and most importantly, it's simple. We are not here to teach rocket surgery today. We're going to keep things simple. Now, I want you to remember that. My wife can identify these patterns, and I love my wife. There's nothing negative to be said about it, but she's a ballerina teacher by trade. She doesn't know trading, but she can identify these patterns. I've used this strategy with a $2,000 account, $20,000 accounts, and even $100,000 plus accounts. I've used it in every market situation. The '08 financial crisis, roaring bull markets, traded it through debt crises, government shutdowns, presidential elections, flash crashes, you name it. Scalping and intraday trading to swing trading for a few days and position trades for weeks and even months. You can do this with small or large accounts, and it can take as little as 15 minutes a week if you wish. So before we dive into all this, let me introduce myself, who I am, and why you should listen to me. Now, this is myself here with my beautiful daughters, my blue-eyed, blonde-haired beauties there standing in front of my alma mater at the University of Alabama. You know, I'm just a simple dude. I'm a simple man. I'm a family guy. I'm a very proud two-girl dad, which I thoroughly enjoy. And 3 days after I graduated University of Alabama, I sold my car, packed up my belongings, and I moved to the great city of Chicago, the old Windy City. 3 days. And it's here where I cut my teeth in the commodity markets, working at the Chicago Board of Trade. And I was bitten by the trading bug and never really looked back. While there, I helped run a global trading desk, placing and managing books of trades across the Americas, Asian, and European sessions, working with large block order flow for hedge funds, banks, and CTAs, which are commodity trading advisors. What does all this mean? It means that our desk was placing, executing, and managing trades in the size of several hundred or thousand contract size. We're talking multi-six-figure and seven-figure position sizes. Sizes where a single tick in the movement of a particular market meant $300,000, maybe $500,000. It was not for the faint of heart. I've also been a part of building and managing several futures and equity brokerage units, managing operations, trading, back office sales, and support. From the ground up, we built firms from scratch to brokerage units with several hundred clients and block trading for clients doing several hundred option contracts and 4- and 5-figure stock share order size. I've also worked for a private family office where we managed around $2.5 billion, covering everything from investment portfolios, tax and financial planning, real estate holdings, timber and farmland management, private jet leases, you name it. And then in 2016, I launched Seasonal Swing Trader, and then in 2020, we launched our RIA, Blue Marlin Advisors, where I'm a co-founder, partner, and COO, and have held all these various futures and securities licenses. And the community that we have now, thousands of traders and investors that use the education and tools that I've developed over the years to help them become consistent and profitable. But my journey was not always easy. There was certainly a learning curve, several obstacles and hurdles on the path to where I am today. The first step was obviously learning. School does not teach real-life experience of the markets. In the beginning, I made money. In fact, I made a substantial amount of money. Was I lucky? No, but ignorance and greed cost me my profits. I blew up an account, then I blew up others in what I like to call revenge trading. I'm sure several of you are familiar with that. I took a small loan of $4,000 to over $50,000, almost a 1,200% gain in less than a year, to only give it back to the market. And these were extremely humbling experiences. I almost gave up. I almost quit. Nothing seemed to work. I was always on the wrong side. But you know what got me back in the game? I was in a dark place. But I went back to the very first trading setup that I learned almost 20 years ago. And guess what? I got back on track. I started banking wins again. I had gone off the reservation looking for that elusive Holy Grail. But my journey ultimately led me back to where I had first started. So I went back to my roots, worked my repeatable process to find overall consistency. Now, enough about me. Let's talk about you. Does anybody's trading desk look like this? Does anybody's trading desk look like this? Okay, this is a bad joke. This is not my desk. I found this on the internet because I thought it was funny at the time. I feel like this is what people on the outside looking in thinking that this is what trading looks like. Maybe they've watched too much NBC or Bloomberg or whatever, but none of this is necessary. None of this is necessary to trade, and really this is just unhealthy on your eyeballs. You do not need all this. I've pared back to a handful of monitors, but my desk did look like this in Chicago for obvious reasons. But really what this leads to is paralysis analysis. So who here has been a victim or is a victim of paralysis analysis? I'm raising my digital hand. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. It's no fun. Who's affected by this? And, you know, per Wikipedia, it's a state of overanalyzing or overthinking a situation so that a decision or action is never taken, in effect paralyzing the outcome. So who here has, you know, done all the research they thought they could do, cross the T's, dotted the I's, got their finger on the mouse, get ready to pull the trigger, and then what? Some Yahoo on TV says, well, you know, you should be selling instead of buying, or maybe some line, cross this line on your chart, and it prevents you from making a decision. Well, I'm going to try and maintain a theme today. You know, trading is not easy, but it can be simple. And once I show you what I have in store for you today, it's going to be self-liberating. So I've got an agenda and a promise to you. We're going to learn a simple mechanical setup together that is repeatable regardless of the market or time frame. But let me paint a quick picture. Everybody knows that no stock goes straight up forever or goes straight down forever. Say they go up and down in waves or certain time frames. And literally trillions of dollars have been made by smart traders by recognizing these trends and these reversals. And at the same time, trillions have been lost by those who think they knew what they're looking at and got it wrong. So right now, let me show you how to get on the right side of these moves, because I think the most powerful thing that can be done is show you proof. As they say, proof is in the pudding. Let's learn about this exciting strategy together right now. I'm going to show you exactly where and why and how you've been learned to be a seller here, a buyer here, and a seller here. And these are 10, 8, 12% moves. Maybe this doesn't sound sexy when you tune into CNBC or MSNBC and you get some penny stock letter about gains of 800% or 1,500%, but these moves can mean up to $1,100 on 100 shares or $600 on 100 shares, $2,000 on 5-lot option contracts. They start to add up. I'm going to show you here in just a moment why you would have been looked to be a seller here, and a buyer here. We're talking 3.5% move here. We're talking 6% move here, 9% plus move here. That's $400, $800, $900 per 100 shares. And these wins do start to add up. How about Lockheed Martin? I'm going to show you how you could have been a seller here, a buyer here, and a buyer here. We've got 5, 6, 6+% moves. You could have bought the stock. You could have bought call options, bought call spreads, sold bull put credit spreads, whatever your style or flavor is. Works just as well on futures and commodities and currencies as it does in equities. This is a 30-minute chart of gold futures. $800 a contract to the downside, followed by another short trade for $450 a contract to the downside. E-mini S&P for the day traders works extremely well. As I said earlier, 36 points today on the E-mini S&P. Here we have 3 points here. We have 8 points here. We have 6 points here. We have 10 points here. $1,300 a contract in a single session. So everybody see the potential. Tick charts. If you're a tick trader, I love this setup that I'm about to teach you on the 233 and 610 tick chart. We've got 4 ticks here, $125 a contract. Here we have 7 ticks on $218 a contract on the 30-year bond. Who would be happy with $218 a day or $500 a day, $1,000 a day, maybe $50 a day? This pattern is responsible for identifying these moves before they happen and lets you know when to get out. It's very mechanical. Now, we know trading is not easy. It is not easy at all, but it can be simplified. You see, when I got started, I was probably a lot like you, sifting through hundreds of different strategies, systems, setups, you name it. I tried all kinds of stuff, indicators, red light, green light systems, Greeks, alert services, robots. Most of it was garbage. But then the single most important part of this journey was when I learned to keep it simple. Once I got rid of the clutter, the fancy blinking gizmos and indicators and started focusing on pure price action led me to seeing one simple pattern over and over and over again. And guess what? This is when it clicked. It all started clicking. So if you're sitting here as a new trader or a struggling trader, or even an experienced trader, I'm about to teach you my foundational go-to strategy that got me from a struggling trader to a winning trader. And I'm telling you right here, right now, that this is a simple, mechanical setup that anybody can learn. And you will keep this in your trading arsenal for years to come. And in the end of today's workshop, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. How you can join my team with a specific set of tools and a plan that will help shortcut not only your learning curve, but also the time you need to spend looking for quality setups. So let's get right to it. The price action pattern we're going to be discussing today is, drum roll please, the 1, 2, 3 pattern, also referred to as a 1, 2, 3 bottom or 1, 2, 3 top. Who here has heard of the 1, 2, 3 setup before? Let me see. Probably a lot of you. This is one of the most fundamental technical patterns in the textbooks. We're talking Technical Analysis 101, but highly, and I mean highly, overlooked by most traders. And if you're familiar with it, you're going to be kicking yourself wondering why you have not been utilizing this in your trading up to now. So let's talk about the setup. The setup is price action based, and guess what? Price action is king. And speaking of king, did you know this? Did you know that McDonald's and Burger King have different ways of choosing where to open new restaurants? McDonald's does tons of research. They look at maps, population counts, traffic patterns, competitive analysis, and on and on and on until they find the perfect location for a new store. Burger King approaches it differently. They wait to see where McDonald's opens up a store, and they open one up across the street or down the block. They get the same result with a lot less effort. So when we relate this to trading, we can let all of the Wall Street traders and institutions and investors do all the research on which stocks to buy or sell. But all we have to do is look at price action, which takes into account all of their fancy processes. Basically, we're the Burger King to Wall Street's McDonald's. Now, let's talk about the setup. The pattern is comprised of a low and a higher high and a higher low and a break of that higher high in the instance that we're going long. Same rules apply, but inverse when we're looking to short. Anticipates a change in trend from up to down on a break below the 2 or B point. Anticipates a change in trend from down to up on a break above the 2 or B point. The strategy usually occurs at the end of trends and swings, can be an indication of a change in trend, can also be found within a trading range. And I will tell you, it works extremely well when the pattern sets up at important areas of support and resistance or structure. Other high probability patterns such as head and shoulder tops and bottoms, double tops and bottoms, and more. So let's take a look at the basic mechanics here. Let's look at the 1, 2, 3 bottom. We use 1, 2, 3 bottoms when we are bullish or we're looking to go long, meaning we're looking to either buy the stock or buy call options on that stock expecting it to go higher. Now this could be a daily chart of Caterpillar, could be a weekly chart of Coca-Cola, could be a 5-minute chart of Bitcoin. It doesn't really matter. So here we are trading lower, and then once we find this lowest low at support and retrace, we get our number 1. The market trades higher. Once we stop printing these lower highs and pull back, we get our number 2. The market retraces back. Once we stop printing these higher lows and pull back, we get our number 3. We have a 1, 2, 3. Now for a 1, 2, 3 bottom trader, we're looking to get long on breaks or closes above the number 2. Now let's look at the 1, 2, 3 top. Same rules apply, only in inverse. We use 1, 2, 3 tops when we are bearish or looking to go short, meaning we're either looking to short the stock or buy put options on that stock expecting it to go lower. Now here we have the market trading higher. Once we find that highest peak here at resistance and pull back, we get our number 1. The market pulls back, retraces back higher, we get our number 2. And then once the market stops making these lower highs and pulls back, we get our number 3. Okay? Now the market could have come up here, all the way up here. As long as we don't take out that number 1 high, we have a 1, 2, 3 top. And for 1, 2, 3 top traders, we're looking to short on breaks or closes below the number 2. Now one of the great things about the 1, 2, 3 setup is you don't have to worry about the first 2 legs. It's not like you need to be glued to your screen watching the setup. I mean, if you're maybe scalping on a tick chart, maybe you do, but take that out of the equation. All you have to do to cash in on the 1, 2, 3 setups is spot when the market is about to trade through the number 2 point. It's that dead simple. Now, let's take a look at some charts. Let's start with the top pattern. Now, this is a daily chart of the Aussie dollar, the 6A futures. If you don't trade futures, you could look at FXA, which is the ETF that tracks the Aussie. FX traders can look at the Aussie USD crosspair, okay? Now, this is a daily chart, and on daily charts, we ideally like to look for 52-week highs or 52-week lows. That's not an absolute rule, nothing set in stone. We'll talk about ways later where we can dial that in a little bit tighter to find more setups, but for these example purposes, we're going to look for 52-week highs or 52-week lows. So we have a red one circle up here. Why? Because it's a 52-week high. So we identified that. As the market trades down and stops printing these lower lows and pulls back, we get our number 2. We only retrace higher by about 4 bars and then pull back, we get our number 3. Again, this market could have traded all the way up here as long as we didn't take out that number. We have a 1, 2, 3. So you pretty much know the setup right now. You know how to identify the 1, 2, 3 top. You know where you're looking to get in. But what about the other important ingredients of the recipe? Where's my stop? Where are my profit? Where are my take? Where are my limit orders? All great questions. So let's talk this out. Our initial risk is going to be above the high of the 1. Our initial target is the distance between the high of the 1 measured down to the low of the 2 measured down. So in this case, this is about 225 ticks or $2,200 per contract. So you're going to see, yes, right off the bat, we have a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Now, it's very important to let the trade materialize and develop in its anticipated direction. So once we start breaking down here and taking out this support, we can then move our stop and adjust our risk to where? Where's the next logical area? Above the number 3 high. So we move it from here to here, and we quickly cut our risk by 60 or 70%. Okay? Let's look at another example. 1, 2, 3 top on Walmart daily chart. We have a red one circle. Why? It's a 52-week high. So we have our count. We identified this 1, 2, 3 top. We know days, if not weeks in advance, what? We have our complete game plan. We're looking to get short on breaks or closes below the number 2. We know our risk is going above the high of the 1. We know our target is the distance between the high of the 1 measured down to the low of the 2 measured down, which is about $5 in this example. Okay? Let's look at 1, 2, 3 bottom examples. Same setup, but only to the inverse. Now, this is a 15-minute chart of the E-mini S&P. So on an intraday chart, it doesn't make sense to look for a 52-week high or 52-week low. So how do we identify what the high or low is on an intraday chart? Well, for an intraday chart, whether it's a tick, a 2-minute, a 5-minute, a 10, 15-minute, we're looking for what we call session highs or session lows. So if you're not familiar, futures in Forex markets, they trade virtually around the clock, opening up on Sunday afternoon, trading into the Asian session, into the European session, into the New York session, shutting down briefly, reopening, rinse and repeat through Friday afternoon. So wherever you start your trading day, maybe it's the 3 a.m. European session, maybe it's the 9:30 Eastern New York cash open, maybe it's the 12 o'clock lunch hour, maybe it's the last hour of the day, you're looking for new highs or new lows from that point forward. So here we are. We have a new session low identified by the red one circle. We have a bump up, retrace back, followed by a move higher. We have a 1, 2, 3 bottom. Now let's talk about a couple of different entry methods. Aggressive traders could work a buy stop, a tick or two above the number 2, and you're triggered immediately into the trade. A couple of alternative entry methods is either to A, wait for the market to come back and retest that breakout area, or wait for the market to come and do what I call a second pass or hook back above that breakout area. So if you use this method, a couple of things are going to happen. Sometimes the market will zip up and hit profit target and leave us at the train station. No need to get your feelings hurt. There's always going to be more opportunities. But by using this alternative second pass or hook method, what does that do? Sometimes the market will come up and then it will trade back down and roll over and end up stopping you out. But by waiting for that second confirmation, we can get back in on the second pass up through to target. Okay? Let's look at another 1, 2, 3 bottom. This is a weekly chart of Apple, hell of a way to catch some longer term position type moves. Here we have a 1, 2, 3. We also have a double bottom, multi-week low here. You can see that we get a breakout above the number 2 here on this large bullish candle. Then we trade sideways for several weeks. We come back down and retest and are hooked back up. That's our confirmation to get long Apple. How do we do that? We buy Apple stock. We buy call options, call spreads. We sell bull put credit spreads. Trade Apple CFDs. I don't care. There's no excuse not to be able to take advantage of these types of moves and situations. Now, this is what I call a failed trade. Sorry to burst your bubble. We know that there's no holy grail in trading or in life. This is a trade I probably took in my live account. We have a vertical move to the upside. We have a new session high, 1, 2, 3. If you're an aggressive trader here, you are triggered into this position here, or if you wait for the hook method, you're triggered in right here. And maybe you're up by 1 or 2 points right here, I'm not sure. And if you exercise any type of money management, you're stopped out above the number 3 high. If you sat on your hands and didn't do anything, you're stopped out as the market comes up to the number 1 point. But look at what we get. We get a new number 1 high right here. This high is greater than that high, so we start to count over. We have a 1, 2, 3, and we're able to get in on this next leg down to make some money. Now this is what I call a no trigger or avoided trade. It's neither good, bad, nor ugly. It is what it is. So it's just avoided trade. And I'll tell you why I like these. So here we have a 1, 2, 3. We're looking to get long on breaks above the number 2. But the market traded lower, took out that number 1 low. We start to count over. 1, 2, 3. Looking to break above the number 2. Market breaks down, takes out that number 1 low. We start to count over. 1, 2, 3. We're able to get long on this last break here. Now, what is likely going on in this situation? Why do I like this? So we have prices making lower lows, right? Lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. But if our oscillator is likely making higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low. What do we call this right here? Divergence. So price action is making lower lows, our oscillator is making higher lows. When we have this situation right here with a 1, 2, 3, I love this particular setup. It's just adding a little bit of icing on the cake. So let's talk about 1, 2, 3 pattern trade management. Again, the confirmation of entries on a break above the 2 or B point for a long, or a close or break below the 2 or B point for a short. Exit strategies. Now, if you're only trading one lot, whether it's one futures contract, one option contract, one share of stock, I would say go and target the distance between the 1 and 2 point. It's uncanny how more often than not it will go tag that off into a tick and then often reverse. Now, if you have the ability or the flexibility to scale, which is where we all want to be, I would say, hey, take a third off or half or 2/3 off of this distance between the 1 and 2, and then you trail your position, your balance, however you use risk management. You know, I can't tell you this one works better than the next. We're all different. Find out what works best for you. For me, I like good old-fashioned just structure, price structure, trend lines, but there's, you know, moving averages, par SAR, fib, retracements. They come a dime a dozen. Figure out what works best for you. Now, I showed you this setup works in any market, whether it's pips and Forex, Pepsi stock, either potash or pot stocks, pork bellies, or the Polish zloty. I've also showed you that this setup works on any time frame, whether you trade tick, 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, hourly, 4-hour, daily, weekly, monthly, and more, and on any trading style. So let me see in the chat here, what is everybody's trading style? You guys shared with me earlier what market you're trading. What is there? Are you a position trader, a swing trader, a scalper, day trader, tick trader, all of the above? So a lot of swing, I usually see a lot of swing traders, a lot of day traders as well. Scalp and swing, you know, and a lot of people will trade just depending on the current market environment. But looks like a lot of swing traders in here, and that's awesome. A lot of day and swing, and even some ticks. So that's cool. And the point is that you've got to figure out what your bread and butter is. You've got to figure out what your bread and butter is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this only works better on a 5-minute chart or a 2-minute chart or a daily chart or a monthly chart. It works on all time frames, but some people have no desire to day trade. Some people are working 9 to 5 and can only look at end-of-day charts. Some people can be glued to the screen and they want to be out by the end of the day. Figure out what works best for you and master it, and master this strategy because it does work. Okay? These are some of my favorites, by the way. Also like the 233 and the 610 tick charts for scalping. I like the 5 and 10, the hourly, 4-hour, daily, and weekly. So I pretty much covered all. Now, you've seen the proof. Let's look at some real trade examples. Not to say what we've been viewing were fake examples by any means, but let's look at some examples we've utilized in some of our services. So this is going to be a chart of crude oil. Everybody's familiar with crude, whether you trade CL futures, maybe USO or other energy stocks. You're going to see the same pattern. Now, you guys and gals can read this information on the right. I'm going to be looking at the chart and working my way from left to right. Okay? So daily chart of crude oil, we have over here a 1, 2, 3. It's a smaller 1, 2, 3, I'll give you that, but still valid nonetheless. But we've identified everything in advance. We've identified our 1, 2, 3 top setup. We know in advance that we're looking to get short on breaks or closes below the number 2. We get a couple of retests here. We quickly meet our $3 or $3,000 per contract price objective. Then we go sideways. So I get asked a lot, Silas, does this work in range-bound or consolidating markets? Well, technically it does, yes, but I'm looking for new highs or new lows. But here is a nice 1, 2, 3 setup here in this range. Beautiful trade to the upside. I'm waiting for new highs, which is exactly what we get right here. We have a new number 1 point because this high is greater than that high. So we have a new 1, 2, 3 count. And let me tell you why I was licking my chops at this setup. Well, one, because of the high probability nature of the 1, 2, 3 top pattern that we've been discussing, but we're now here at a point in the year from a seasonal perspective where crude and energy markets in general tend to trade to the downside. So we have a high probability 1, 2, 3 top. We have a high probability seasonal pattern. I was looking to jump on this short, and that's exactly what we did. So we broke below the number 2. If you are out gardening or golfing or whatever it is you do, you have like 3 or 4 days here to get into this market as we keep retesting the number 2. So we hopped on shorts here. We met our $4,000 per contract price objective, and you can sell bear calls up here, buy puts, you name it. And all we're doing is trailing the market until we either get stopped out or we get a potential reversal. Okay, this market ended up trading another $20,000 per contract to the downside. And all we're doing is waiting for new potential 1, 2, 3 bottom here, potential 1, 2, 3 bottom here. We don't get it because this low took out that low. We don't get it here because this low took out that low. So we're starting to count over. We finally get a last 1, 2, 3 bottom here at the downside for a quick $5,000 per contract move. Now, I want you to remember this chart and subsequent charts because I'll show you something very special towards the end of the workshop. Now, you might say, Silas, this chart is from 2018. Love the hindsight trade. Well, I can assure you this is no hindsight, but let me show you what it looks like in current market environments. $4,500 contract winner here, $6,000 contract winner here, $12,600 contract winner here. Let's look at another market everybody likes, gold. This is actually the ETF GLD that tracks gold futures. I like to look at the futures markets because you're not going to see all these gaps, but regardless, it's the same pattern, same setup. So here we have a 1, 2, 3 top. We're looking at short on breaks or closes below the number 2. We quickly meet our $4 profit objective. Here, we flip to the long side. We don't care about the direction of gold. People subscribe to all these expensive newsletters. Gold's going to go here. Gold's going to go there. Who cares? Let price action dictate what your trading decision should be. Here we have a 1, 2, 3 double bottom. We get a break above the number 2. We meet our $2 price objective. Well, what about this action in the middle? Do we have a 1, 2, 3 here? Yes, we do. Trades nice to the upside. Do we have a 1, 2, 3 here? Yes, we do. Trades nice to the downside. Remember, I'm looking for new 52-week highs or new 52-week lows. So here we go. We start making new lows. These lows are lower than these lows, so we start to get new counts. 1, 2, well, 1, 2. This looked like a 1, 2, 3 bottom here, but this candle takes out that number 1 low, so we start to count over. 1, 2, 3. Here we gap 2 days higher in a row. You wouldn't have seen that on a futures contract, but it's okay. We come back down. We hook back up on that trend line retest. That's our confirmation to get long. We buy gold futures. We buy GLD. We buy call options, call spreads, sellable, put credit spreads, whatever your flavor is. This is a daily chart, WB, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Gold chart in today's markets, here you go. 1, 2, 3 top right here, 1, 2, 3 bottom right here. Delta Airlines. Let's take a look at Delta Airlines. Guys, this is just so redundant, but I'm trying to hit home the fact about how frequent and often these are. Here we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom. We break higher. We come back and retest. $4 move plus to the upside. Now we flip to the short side. 1, 2, 3. Now we gap below that number 2. I don't chase these. I've got several members and students that will aggressively be selling or buying puts. We get another chance to short because this high is greater than that high, so we have a new 1, 2, 3 top count. Here we trade aggressively below that number 2. We get a small retest right here. We can hop on board for an $8 plus move. Then what? We flip to the long side. Rinse and repeat. 1, 2, 3 bottom. We break above. We trade higher. We come get retest, and we rip higher for $8 plus per move. Delta. Here's real today's current market environment. $6.30 a share. $4 a share. $5.75 a share. Forex traders. CAD Swissy, the Canadian dollar versus Swiss franc. Here we are on making a multi-session low, giving us a new number 1 point. We have a 1, 2, 3, also have a double bottom. Remember, those aggressive traders may be looking to get long here on that initial breakout. If you wait for that kind of hook and second pass move, you get long on this hook right here. We meet our 70 pip profit objective. All we do now is we wait for a potential reversal. 1, 2, nope. 1, 2, nope. 1, 2, nope. Finally get a last 1, 2, 3 right here. We break down below. We come back up. We hook back down. We reach our 40 pip profit objective. Okay? And here's what it looks like in today's environment. CAD Swissy. Here we are. 80 pip move here. 70 pip move here. 35 pip move here. 70 pip move here. Double nickel. 55 points here. And tracking higher. Day traders, 5-minute chart of the NASDAQ. 5-minute chart of the NASDAQ, we have a session low, 1, 2, 3. We break above slightly. We come back, hook back up, reach our 13-point profit objective. New session high. We start the count over. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. We break down below. We trade sideways. We might have to pop a little Tums. Finally break down, reach our 20-point profit objective. Then we have another setup here, likely in the last hour of the day. This flush low down here, 1, 2, 3, we break above. If you're lucky enough to get long there on that retest, you're filled on your 30-point profit objective in about 2 bars or so. And here's what it looks like in current market environments. 137 ticks, 60 ticks, 91 ticks. Guys, happens every single day. So why are you here? You're here to learn a mechanical, done-for-you strategy for all markets and all time frames. This is the part where I stop, take a sip of water. I ask you, have I fulfilled my promise up to this point? Let me know in the chat. Let me know you're alive. Have I fulfilled my promise up to this point? I'm not sure if it gets any more mechanical, simple, or easier. There's no guessing when to get in. There's no guessing where the market is likely headed. No guessing where to get out. If we had 100 traders looking at the same chart, we should, at a bare minimum, have 99 traders seeing the same thing. There's always going to be one person that has to overanalyze. I'm just kidding, but it's true. But it doesn't get any more mechanical or easier than that. But wait, there's more. The one weakness or drawback of the 1, 2, 3 setup is there are plenty of them. There are many of them. How do you catch them all without spending hours in front of your computer? Well, what if the strategy was automated? What if the strategy was plotted onto your chart for you? What if the trigger entry and the targets were drawn for you? And what if your platform could scan the markets for you and tell you when there is a pinning setup? Well, I don't know about you, but I would think that would be quite amazing. Well, do you remember the case studies that we just went over? Crude, gold, Delta, NASDAQ, and so on? Well, I told you to remember those here's what they look like with the special sauce. So here is that same crude oil chart we just analyzed, but with the secret sauce. Now, you're smart boys and girls. Let's talk about what all this is on the chart. The green arrow is your number 1. Your red arrow is your number 2. The blue arrow is your number 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, you see these little white chevrons here? These are not sell signals. These are not buy signals. All this is a visual aid waving at you saying, hey, we've broken below the number 2, or we've broken above the number 2. That clues us in that we may need to get ready to take a trade. If and only if we get that chevron, you're going to get these 4 beautiful lines plotted onto your chart. Well, what are those? Well, your blue line is that breakout or entry level. Your red line is your risk or stop. Your lime green line is TP1 or profit objective 1. And then your dark green line is TP2 or profit objective 2. Remember, TP1 is the distance between the high of the 1 measured to the low of the 2 measured down. The TP2 is simply 2 times the distance of TP1. Now, what the heck are all these green arrows? Why am I seeing all these green arrows? It's because it's telling us that the market is making new lows. New lows, new lows, new lows, new lows. Once we stop printing new lows and retrace, we then start to get a 1, 2, 3 count. So here's a potential 1, 2, 3. But what happens? We never break above that number 2 before we take out this low. So hence no chevron, hence no lines. We simply start the count over. Here we are, 1, 2, 3. We never take out the number 2. We actually trade lower. So we start the count over. Here's that last setup. Okay? Here's the same chart of gold. Guys, no hand painting any of this anymore. No repainting. All right, so here's that gold example. Here we have the 1, 2, 3 pattern. We just barely take out that number 2 high, so we get our print. Once we take out that number 2 high, we're entry, risk, target 1, and target 2. We're not getting any 1, 2, 3 prints here because remember, we're looking for new highs or new lows, okay? And that's exactly what we're starting to get here. These green arrows are indicating that we're making new lows. These lows are lower than these lows. All right, so here is that 1, 2, 3. We just barely take out that number 2 high again, so we get our prints. And then we can see we're getting a new fresh 1, 2, 3 high over there in the right-hand corner. Delta Airlines, again, here are those 4 examples. Here's our long trade. Here's our short trade. Here's our short trade. Here's our long trade. 5-minute NASDAQ trade. Remember, new session high. We break below the number 2. We come hit TP1. We come hit TP2. We hit TP2 to the tick, and TP2 happens to be a session low, so we start at 1, 2, 3 bottom. Here we crack above the number 2. We hook back above. We hit TP1. We don't quite hit TP2, but it's close enough for government work. We don't lose any money on that trade. And then what? We make a new session low. This low is lower than this low, so we start a new count. You see the market just nips its little head there above the. So we get a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and then we hit TP1. As we're waiting to hit TP2, we start to get new number 1 highs. It clues us in that we may need to get ready to reverse the market, okay? But we do hit TP2, and then here we have our last print of the day. We break down, we rise back up, and then we hook back down, hit TP1, hit TP2, and we're starting a new count over. Now, is this training for you? You only are the only one that can answer that. But if you are new to the markets and want to jumpstart your success, if you're an experienced trader and want to add another arrow to your trading quiver, if you're tired of all the noise we talked about, the paralysis analysis, if you just want to simplify your process or add another strategy to your toolbox, or if you need a specific step-by-step plan and want to avoid learning this on your own or something that you can do part-time, then this training could be for you. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a swing, day, or scalper. Look at these recent setups here. This one on Holly Frontier, our long, our short, and our long. This daily chart here on Google. 3 shorts right here, or excuse me, 2 shorts, followed by long, followed by another short. 4-hour chart of the Canadian dollar. Here's a long, here's a short, non-repainting, 233 tick chart of the E-mini S&P. If you scalp, you love the action, It works beautifully on the 233 and 610 charts, even the 987 tick. You're going to get so many opportunities every single day. Now, why do all the work when you can let technology do the work for you? This is a screenshot of my Thinkorswim platform where I'm scanning for 1, 2, 3 top patterns across the Russell 1000, only stocks that are optionable, $20 a share or greater. I hit the green scan button, and what would take days and weeks to go find and scour through takes seconds. I have one monitor dedicated to multiple watch lists, scanning multiple markets and multiple time frames every single day. So we've been looking at Thinkorswim. This is what it looks like on TradeStation. This is what it looks like on Ninja 8. This is what it looks like on TradingView. This is what it looks like on MetaTrader 4. This is what it looks like on Wealth Charts. This is what it looks like on Metastock. Yes, we've had it programmed for every single one of those platforms. The only platform that doesn't have a scanner is TradingView, and that's just due to the limitations of that platform. Now, we know there's no real crystal ball in the market, but I view this as one that provides me with a process every single day. I'm letting my platform scan the markets for me, going and locating that setup. I go to my platform for entry and manage the trade through the exit. I view this tool, scan, set up, entry, exit, rinse, and repeat this process every single day. And you can do so too with the 3S code. So here is the offer you simply cannot refuse. Now, with all this programming, coding software, development costs well into the 5 figures, 7 platforms, 7 different coding requirements, and hundreds of hours of testing, I realized that $3,000 was way out of reach for most folks. Hell, even $2,000, not even $1,000. I truly mean this when I say I want you to be able to start on the right foot right now with a proven mechanical, no BS, no guessing, straightforward setup that you can literally take and use for the rest of your trading career. So we made this absolutely completely affordable today for those that are willing to take action. You can get in now with today's special offer. We've opened up 25 spots. You're going to get the 3S code and indicator for 7 platforms. You're going to get the 3S code scanner for 6 platforms. You're going to get the 3S code optimizer, access to monthly strategy and scan sessions, plus private Telegram access and my quick start guides, all for a single one-time fee of $397. The offer link is tradestrending.com. tradestrending.com, and I'm going to put that into the chat box. tradestrending.com/code. Lifetime access, guys. You get immediate access to all of these platforms. All these platforms, one-time fee. There's no rebilling. There's no auto-renew. If you want to call in and speak with a real human being, to place your order or to ask questions or even to do an installation on any of these, you can call 502-383-1182. Okay? Now, let's talk about this just so you make sure everything is completely understood. You're going to get access to the indicator for Thinkorswim, TradeStation, Ninja 8, TradingView, MT4, Wealth Charts, and Metastock, and the scanner for all of the above except for TradingView. This should actually say scanner. We just got that loaded. And you can load that on multiple platforms as you wish. We've also added a PayPal option. This has been a really popular request. It's on the order form, tradestrending.com/code. You can either just purchase through PayPal or finance it through PayPal, and it's a very convenient feature. We're also holding monthly strategy and scan sessions. We just had one this week. Our next one will be Wednesday, July 20th at 10 a.m. Eastern. This is where I go over my top setups. We scan the markets live. We look for live setups, how to day trade, swing trade using the 3S code, using options, trading minis, micros, ETFs, and much, much more. Now, to make sure you understand what the indicator and scanner includes, you're going to get a visual plot of the 1, 2, 3 top and bottom reversal areas. That includes the entry, exit, stop, and targets. Everything's customizable. If you want to customize the colors, the arrows to dots, multiple look back periods. If you want to find more setups or less setups, if you want to scan for setups only or trigger only or both, if you want to scan for tops or bottoms or both, or intraday setups, or swing setups, or both, you have that option to do so. Now, you're also going to get the 3S code optimizer. This is where you can now take the mechanical 1, 2, 3 top and bottom strategy and create and run multiple backtests across various inputs and settings to find the best optimization parameters that fit your trading style. This is another tool that helps you progress in your trading. So this is me running the 3S optimizer here on crude oil in Thinkorswim. It spits out all of the trading results. Here's what it looks like on TradingView. I'm running the optimizer here on a 4-hour chart of the British pound. Here's what it looks like on TradeStation, giving you all of your results. Here's what it looks like on Ninja 8, giving you a complete data report on using the 3S code. Now, also going to include 3 bonuses. You're going to get my chart pattern principle trading manual and guide. This will help jumpstart you by teaching you how the market works, why the markets move the way they do, who the players are, and how to look and understand the market the proper way. And you're going to get bonus setups, how we use the power of seasonality to trade the 1, 2, 3 pattern. Bonus 2 is my 25 top option strategy guide. I include this because I believe options are a very powerful trading instrument, and if you know how to use them properly, so it's important for me to include this so everybody can take advantage of options if they wish to do so and do it the right way using the 3S code. Last one is private Telegram channel access. Every week I'm posting top scan setups across stocks, ETFs, indices, futures, commodities, and currencies. You get access to that as well. So here is just some examples. These are some recent posts from the Telegram room. Daily chart here on new. You can see what happened right here. This is a daily chart of Cardinal Health. I mean, tell me, guys, who could have shorted that with ease and easily see your targets here? Who could have sold bear call spreads? Who could have bought put options, knowing exactly where your risk and target levels are? These are some unsolicited testimonials that come in all the time of people using the 3S code, people taking action. I don't ask for these, but that's the only way it's going to work for you, if you actually take action with the 3S code. So again, here's just a couple more examples. Who's ready? Trade this to day trade, swing, position, any style, any market. Here is the offer once again. 3S code, again, lifetime access. You get immediate access to all indicators. You don't need to email me and tell me, hey, I'm using Ninja or I'm using Thinkorswim. If you want it on Thinkorswim and Ninja, go for it. If you want it on Thinkorswim, Ninja, TradingView, and MT4, go for it. We do not restrict single license. Reason we limit this to 25 spots is because we have a white glove VIP service and support. I'll personally answer you, reply to your emails. I love working with our students and clients. It's very, very important for me to work with you to get you up to speed, get you profitable. But if you need password assistance, login assistance, you need to do a remote session where somebody can actually log into your computer and install these for you, well, we offer that as well. You're going to get continued access to that support. It doesn't expire. You know, you don't, like 30 days from now, it's not like you don't get to contact us. If you don't wish to contact us, then you don't have to. Believe it works with the free version, Jimmy. You may want to check on that. I should know that question, so that's on me. I've got one of the premium versions, but you may want to check with TradingView. Just ping their support and ask if you can add third-party indicators. But I'm pretty sure that you can. But I'd hate to mislead you there. How do I determine the top point of 0.2 and the bottom point of 3? Well, if the market is trading lower, like so, and then we start to trade higher, this is going to be your 1, and this is going to be your 2, and this is going to be your 3. So that is going to be your number 2 point. Let's say that the market was trading higher, puts in a top. Okay. Now this would be a potential 1, 2, but if we made a higher high, this is our new number 2. then number 1, this was your new number 2, and then your 3 is your number 3 until we stop printing. Now, if we came up and made a new higher high but lower than the number 1, then you get a new number 3. Let me just check here. Sorry about this. Are your presentations done with a light background? I'm not sure what that means. This is a white background, and I'm presenting, so I'm really not sure what you're asking. Unless you're asking about my monthly member sessions, I do have some slides that I'll go through, but we primarily focus on the charts. You're welcome, Bill. Thank you for joining. No, it's not built for Tastyworks at this time, Ray. Thinkorswim. Now I'm going to see if I can rattle all these off since we've expanded so much. TradeStation, Ninja 8, Thinkorswim, TradingView, Wealth Charts, MT4, and Metastock. This is not automated in the sense of like a robot, Frank, so it's not going to auto place orders for you. It's automated in the sense that it's automating the 1, 2, 3 pattern process. So, I mean, think about this. For years and years and years, I would have to manually sit here and squint, go through all kinds of markets, dozens and dozens and dozens of markets. I was following 35 commodity markets, 30 currencies, and we know there's hundreds and actually thousands of different equities, but I was monitoring probably hundreds of different stocks. And you do that and you multiply it times all the different time frames. I was doing all this by hand. You look at a chart, you go, well, okay, well, let me just bring over a chart. How about that? So here's a live chart. This is crude oil. This is a 610 tick chart on crude oil. So in real time, can you imagine sitting here going, well, I think that's a 1, that's a 2, that's a 3. Okay, the high of that is this, the low of that is that. Okay, that's going to be 63 cents. Let me take 107.39, subtract 63 cents. You see what I'm getting at? Can't do that in real time when you're trying to trade. You can see that we also have these labels here for those that like that. Let's go to today's action. You want to see today's action? Remember I told you 36 S&P points for the taking? Here they are. You're going to see exactly what I'm seeing once you load this onto your platform. There's no repainting. You can see a long, and a short. Doesn't matter if you trade the Russell. You're going to see trades here in the Russell. Doesn't matter if you trade the NASDAQ. Okay. 30-year bonds. 30-year bonds. Anybody trade 30-year bonds or 10-year notes? Here we are. Trade here in the 30-year bonds. Gold. Gold's a popular market. I love trade. I traded gold actually today. 2 trades here on a 5-minute chart of the gold. We had a trade to the long side here, trade to the short side. Look at how it respects that number 1 point, as I said, okay? Let's see, 1 hour chart. Let's take a quick look at a 1 hour. I love the 1 hour. 1 hour charts to swing trade. These futures and commodity markets are awesome. There we go. So here's the last 1 hour chart in gold. Crude, let me see. All right, so we're in the middle of a 1, 2, 3 top here in crude from 109.25, then as low as 105.60. Is the algorithm independent of your company? Once we download on TOS, is the information independent of your company in case you decide to release the business? I mean, you own the indicator. You own the indicator for life. I've got guys that day trade FANG stocks. Here's a 1 hour chart of Apple. Just if you want to flip over to daily charts, you can see this was the last one we had here. We came up to 80% of our profit objective, and then we sold off, and we're getting a new 1, 2, 3 bottom as we speak. Amazon also here. You can see the last 2 setups here in February, here in March. And then we're in the middle of a 1, 2, 3 bottom right now. So if we were to take out these lows right here, we were to take out this low, we start the count over. This is where we're looking to be a buyer. And this is where I'd be buying call options or selling bull put credit spreads. In my monthly sessions, do I use charts with a light or black background? This is exactly what we look at right here, WB. This is my chart layout, gray. It's just what I've been using forever. White blinds me sometimes, so I like the gray. It's a little bit easier on the eyes. And they're all recorded and archived, so if you can't make the live monthly session, they're all recorded and archived. We had incredible sessions. I mean, it's really, we're just putting the theory into practice. It doesn't take rocket surgery here to figure out what we're doing, but what we're doing is we're helping automate the process of doing this by hand, by manually, which I did for years. That's the main benefit. And if you want to run this on multiple computers, you can load it on a desktop and a laptop as well. That's what I do. I use TradingView on my phone. You know, you can see these setups. Almost 20 years, Ron. No, this is not for 52-week highs and 52-week lows, Jim. So actually my settings, and you guys can change and manipulate these settings as well. So like if you want to see minimum bar, and all this is explained in the members area. If you want to see, say, I want at least 3 bars between the 1 and 2, or I want to see a retracement of X%, this and that, you have the ability to do that. Default, this is for Jim, 126 bars, and that it comes to 6 months. So right now, you know, we talked about that 52-week high or 52-week low for that example purposes. The default is actually set to look back 6 months, and then if you want more action, then you would adjust that value lower. If you want less action, then you would adjust it higher, and so on. But I leave the default settings the way they are, just the bare bones basic, because I want to be alerted. I want to see every setup. Doesn't mean that I'm going to take them. We couldn't physically take every single signal. You know, especially if you're, you know, if you're trading just one market, one time frame, then yeah, you probably could. But if you're like me and you want different opportunities, different time frames, different markets, then sure. The website is, yes, that is my website, Vince. It redirects, tradestrending.com/code. What do I mean by no repainting? Maybe somebody can help me answer this, but basically repainting means that there are some indicators in the marketplace that are built where, let's say you pull up a chart and the market, let's say the market looks like this. And when you pull up that chart, it's going to have a big old fat sell signal right there. And you go, well, damn, this is a great system. And then actually you pull up that chart, you have a buy signal right here. So you go, well, I mean, this is a no loss system, right? No loss system. It's got a sell arrow at the top, absolute high, buy arrow at the absolute bottom. But then when the market does its thing, and let's say you go back in the chart or that platform the next day, well, this arrow is gone, and now you have a new sell arrow. And let's say that the market does this, and you log in, and you have a buy signal right here, and let's say 30 minutes later, the market has made it a lower low. This arrow is gone, and you have a new buy arrow. That's what we mean by repainting. Repainting sucks. These do not repaint. So everything that you see here that I just showed you, they're going to be here. You can scroll back for as long, you know, far back as you wish, and the setup that's set up remains. Hopefully that helped. You're welcome, CP and WB. What does the indicate? This is my proprietary divergence indicator. I do not have an algo at this time, no. I do WB. You can email support@tradestrending.com or check out our site, tradestrending.com. Richie, you can email me. I'll be happy to send you a screenshot. I don't have it pulled up right now. It's a separate product, Fred. Nope, no monthly fee, guys. It is a one-time. There's no monthly fee, no subscriptions, no renewal. You don't have to contact me in a year and say, hey, it's been a year, what happens next? I hope you reach out and say hi, but you don't have to. You own, once you download this, you own it. You download it to your computer. There's no way for me to reach back into your computer and retrieve that. So it's yours for life. TradeStream.com/code. Of course it does, R. We talk about ways, we talk about how to trade high probability setups. I'm not sure, Vince. The reason we do that is because we actually take care of our students. We like working with our students, and our support team can only handle so much, especially if we have to do remote sessions. We have installation on every one of these platforms. So please, I do encourage, at least ask you to go watch them. If you're familiar with your platform, it should take you no less than 5 minutes to get it loaded. But I understand, hey, I'm not a tech guru. Sometimes we run into issues. If you run into an issue, email us at support@tradetraining.com, pick up a telephone, call 502-383-1182. We don't bite. We're happy to help you. We'll get you up and running. No, Magic, there's not, because as I just said, you download the indicators, we can't get those back. You download all that proprietary information, we can't get that back. Thanks, Ron. I appreciate it. We cover all that in the members area. I mean, I know my time's up. I'm 7 minutes past the hour, so we cover all that. We have guides in the member session. I mean, in the members area. We also cover all this in the monthly sessions. It's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, thanks, Vince. One last question here for Michael C. on Amazon. Let me see. Is the system suggesting no position right now, but rather waiting for a buy? Yes, you are interpreting that correctly. Doesn't mean you can't get long here. This is just based off of the 1, 2, 3 bottom. 1, 2, 3. That 1, 2, 3 bottom will trigger here at 128, as long as we don't take out the low. So if we track higher from here, once we break above this number 2 high, you'll get that line, that target line, that target 2 line, your little entry line, and your little risk line. Okay? All right. I'm going to be respectful of Mr. Bigelow and the Candlestick Forum team. Thank you so much for having me on. I really do appreciate that. I love this stuff. I get very, very passionate. I get excited because this stuff works. If it didn't, I damn sure wouldn't be talking to you right now. So there's the offer, guys. TradeStream.com/code. Have a great evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Enjoy your summer. Stay safe. Stay cool. Wear some sunscreen. And take care. Hope to see you on the flip side. Talk soon. Thanks, Candlestick team and Stephen.